I'm Greg Hunter. Welcome to USAWatchdog.com for Friday, 10/23/2020, the WNW Weekly News Wrap-Up 454. Presidential debates Thursday night, the last one. Listen, if you're uninformed and you just like Biden, he did pretty good. He looked pretty good. He didn't make any big gaffes except for calling the president, Abraham Lincoln here, which was a little weird. And if you're not very well informed, then you liked Trump. He did pretty well too. But if you're informed, Joe Biden got bloodied. He got gashed. Joe Biden's big gotcha was you had a fake bank account, in China. And Trump said, "Yeah, I was doing business. I opened up in 2013. I closed it in 2015." Then he talked about his tax returns. I prepaid my taxes. So Trump had actually specific answers to Joe's attacks, other than, you haven't released your tax returns. Okay. He's been audited all these times, and the point that Trump brought up is that Mueller and the angry Democrats spent, 40-something million looking at everything, including his tax returns, and got nothing. But I mean, the Hunter Biden deal, the graft, I got to tell you, it would look bad for Joe. He was, it's just Russian disinformation. It's just information fed to you by the Russians. No, that's just kooky and factually wrong, especially in the lieu of the fact that a couple of Hunter Biden's, this guy Bobulinski and Cooney, both have rolled over on Hunter and confirmed all kinds of stuff, released all kinds of documents, confirmed that that Biden was the big guy, that he's involved in it. Also, more emails came out that Obama is in on the deal, on the graft. I mean, it was, this is awful just before the election. And all I can say is it's just Russian disinformation. Retired people, so retired intelligence officials, deep state folks in the tank for you say it's not a big deal. It's Russian disinformation. But the real guys that have current jobs in the intelligence agency says, no, this is real. This is coming out. And some of the things that Trump knocked him for was the family getting rich like a vacuum cleaner. And you need to answer this stuff. Now Trump did get way in the weeds with Bobulinski and Cooney, but this is two people that have come out that confirmed these emails, dumped more stuff. Obama is now involved. I guess you'd call it O'Biden. He's now been seen in some of the new emails. This is not good. And this is not going to go away. This was a gaping wound on Biden. Giuliani is just being fed Russian disinformation. That's preposterous on its face. The laptop has been confirmed by the Biden family who asked for it back. And another gaping thing that Biden didn't do was deny that those emails were authentic, and that was authentic. It was just Russian smear, Russian disinformation. The Russians again. I mean, how absolutely outrageous. Didn't they tell us, the Russians, that Donald Trump was a Russian agent for going on, 3 years? And no. So if you're into the news and you understand what's going on, Trump just stuff slid off him like crazy, but Biden got gashed. He had some big gaping wounds on him, and this is not going to get better between now and Election Day. It's going to get worse. So my overall read on the debate, I mean, if you go to CNN, 6 out of 10 people thought that Biden won. Wow, a super liberal CNN that could only get 6 out of 10 that thought Biden won. You take a look at USA Watchdog, and I put the same question up. Who do you think won, Biden or Trump? If you look at my website, it's lopsided. So you can't go by that. But you go by the substance of who had an answer for the other guy. Trump said, hey, yeah, I had a bank account in China. I opened it up in 2013 and closed it down in 2015 before I ran. I prepaid my taxes. I think $750 was a filing fee. Biden didn't hit him. He didn't take him down because it's hard to make a case on a guy that's hard to make a case on. Especially after the 18 angry Democrats going after Trump found nothing. So this made things worse for Biden. On top of that, he sat right on stage and said, "I didn't say I was going to ban fracking," and then he said, "Well, I am going to ban fracking on federal lands, and we have to phase all this out." He's going to attack the oil and gas industry and do away with it. And there's Trump going, basically, see? I mean, can you imagine what that's going to do to voters in Texas and in places like Pennsylvania and other oil and energy producing states? You're going to destroy a whole industry. We're going to have windmills in solar. It also brought up a good point about 180 something million people are going to lose their health care. Of course they're going to lose their health care. And the lie, nobody lost their health care under Obamacare. Well, I know that's a lie because I lost mine. Oh, excuse me. Mine only went to $2,800 a month. I'm on Christian Healthcare Ministries now, which is pretty good. I'm not plugging for them. I don't get paid for that, but I'm saying I had Blue Cross and Blue Shield, evil as they are, $2,800 a month. Mine went to, so we could pay for all the illegal aliens and all the, mass people we're going to make citizens and all the open borders and tear down the walls and all the crazy stuff, the Green New Deal, which is hundreds, was it $100 trillion, taxes for everybody. Even if your taxes don't get raised, listen, poor folks like me, your cost of living is going to go way up with the crazy time of the Green New slogan deal, which is going to be I'm going to destroy the middle class and make everybody peasants and just have a few at the top like Joe Biden and Hunter and the rest of his family cashing in, selling out the country. I think that Hunter Biden is sinking Joe Biden. And then these two new people that rolled over that came out, and the emails are being confirmed and new stuff is being dumped on. It makes the Biden family look like a RICO operation. Pay to play, selling his job, cashing in, bribes, whatever you want to call it. It's going to raise a lot of questions. Of course, now the mainstream media, which is dying, and this is the death knell in there, that nails hammered in their own coffin. They're hammering them themselves by ignoring a monster story. This is a huge story. The debate just opened up some gaping wounds on Joe Biden. But he did do okay. There just was no substance there, and he didn't score any real points. Trump did. And even though the moderator was less biased than other moderators, still biased. The only person she cut off was Trump. And, oh, yes, Mr. Vice President, oh, please talk uninterrupted. I won't interrupt you. Right? So that's how I looked at the debate. Not going to change very many people's minds, but it opened up some gaping wounds on Joe Biden. It really did. We one of the other things in the debate, Trump got this in. This was, the 1994 crime bill, which was basically done so they could turn the prisons over to private entities, and then they need bodies. So the bodies they used were black people and low-level drug crimes, and they could, put them in jail for a long time, and so they could make money running the prisons. They needed prisoners. And, he brought up the whole super predator phrase that Joe Biden said, which, again, he didn't say, but doesn't he realize there's videotape? There's, video, that there's bits of video where he's on camera calling black people super predators. So, and then you're running with Kamala Harris, who made a career out of locking up black people. I mean, this is, it's not getting good. I have Gerald Celente on for the guest. He's got big political chops. And I try to get his take on things going on. And he had a couple of different things that I don't have, like the big black vote coming out, Democrats, as I said, coming to Trump rallies by 20 to 29%, depending on the rally. He's got a couple other metrics he's going to talk about the Trump-Biden election. But he said, oh, this hurts Biden. And after tonight's debate, I think he's got lots more questions to ask, especially when the press has these zingers like, hey, you're getting rich, your family's getting rich, and, like a vacuum cleaner. I mean, people are going to ask him about the vacuum cleaner line. These are lines that, hey, Donald Trump said that you're getting rich like a vacuum cleaner. What do you say to that? Oh, it's just Russian disinformation. Back to the Russians again. It's unbelievable. So that's how that's going. And that, of course, all takes your mind off the real issues. And the real issues have to do with the Supreme Court, have to do with the voter and voter fraud. Pennsylvania just won for the Democrats 3 days. They can bring in ballots 3 days after the election. They don't even have to have a postmark. In North Carolina, they can bring votes in 9 days after the election, but they're talking about absentee ballots, so don't they have to have a postmark? I don't know. So they're going to count the votes, and the Governor Baby Killer Cooper was overheard, saying, about Cal Cunningham. Now there's second mistress out there, and who knows? It's just two, like just two roaches, just two, and now a second roach mistress out there, and he denied he turned down 5 or 6 interview requests, and Baby Killer Cooper is out saying that we'll get him across, we'll get him across. What? So the same way you got across by cheating? I don't, But this is why Amy Coney Barrett is going to be so important. She's going to rule on at least one voting case. Going to rule on. She's going to get voted in on Monday. That's the day she gets voted in. That'll defeat the liberal judge who is Judge Roberts, who's supposed to be conservative, who voted incidentally for the Pennsylvania cheating. And so I don't understand how there'll be other cases surrounding that, though. I suspect there'll be other cases. And I suspect that the North Carolina case, after Coney Barrett gets put into office, maybe they will hear that case. I don't know. We'll see. But she's going to be voted in on the 9th. That's for sure. And another thing that came out in the debates, and this is something that Gerald Celente brought up. He says, the debates come down to really, and this I didn't think this, but he says it comes down really to one thing. You got a guy that wants to lock you down and keep you locked down and tell you not to have Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's Biden. And then you got a guy saying, "Hey, we got to open up the country. All the suicides and marital problems and drinking problems and drugs. We got to open up the country. The cure is worse than the disease." You have that, and that's a pretty clear choice. And I think a lot of Democrats don't want to be locked in their homes. And this is why you have all these Democrats showing up at Trump rallies. We'll see what the real vote is. We'll see. The cheating could backfire and help Trump too. This is what Celente said, but he'll be the guest for the Saturday Night Post. And some information, some other news going on. The unemployment rate, 787,000. People filed first-time claims last week's the latest week. Last week, another 780,000 people, just, a 250,000 shy of 1 million people, which is way, way higher than CV-19 virus, way higher. And it's coming down some, but it's not coming down in leaps and bounds. Well, I guess it's coming down. It was 7 million a week, and 3 million, and 2 million, and 1 million for the longest time. And then it popped under 1 million, and now nobody's even reporting it anymore. But 787,000 unemployment claims. Whew. And part of this is because big states are staying locked down. So they don't need the workers. So they're making the unemployment awful in New York and Illinois and California. And Trump brought up New York, where he's lived for many years and did business and built skyscrapers, and said they destroyed New York. They're destroying it. You don't think that's resonating with New Yorkers? They destroyed New York. They did. I mean, I was watching Fox News one night, and they shot a bumper shot out the window. They have their studios that are on the corner of Avenue, Avenue of the Americas, and their studio shot faces north. So if you look up, you think, wow, it's a black hole at Central Park. And it was like 8:10, and they shoot a shot down on Avenue of Americas, where I think all the traffic goes northbound there. Radio City Music Hall, one of the big landmarks. You look down, I saw one person walking on the street, no cars. One person. This is New York City at 8 o'clock at night on like a Monday or Tuesday. One person. New York City. No cars. 10% of the office space is not used in 90% is not used. Only 10% is being used in New York City. Please, we have this respite. We have this lull, which is being covered over by a massive amount of money printing. You have this stimulus that's probably going to happen at some point. I'd never in my wildest dreams would say, wow, $1.8 trillion are the people who are conservative people on the stimulus, as opposed to Nancy Pelosi, the crazy spenders of $2.2 trillion. That's what they're missing, $400 billion. And then what they're really missing inside there is, they want to bail out all these poorly run Democrat cities. Another thing that came up in the debates. They want to bail out all these people with everybody else's money all across the country. and us being on the hook for that. The amount of money printing is covering over the severity of what's going on, and also the CDC moratorium on evictions. That's going to end the 31st of December. They just extended it in September. The CDC, I don't know why they're getting involved in voiding contracts and telling landlords they can't make money and they can't get a paying renter in their property. And I don't mean to sound mean to people not paying, but the CDC is the all-important, omnipotent, we're going to void your contract because we're the Centers for Disease Control. At some point, that's got to end. Is it going to end December 31st? That's what it looks like now. Please don't be lulled into thinking, well, it's just some mask and it's not going to be bad. And I think the worst is yet to come. It's another thing Gerald Celente, brought up. We talked about, the elections and a lot of stuff surrounding that, voter fraud, the ballots, Trump, young, old voters, the whole deal. He also talked about the economy. He thinks we're headed for the worst depression ever, unimaginable. Please prepare. That means pay off debt, stockpile food. Don't hang yourself out. If you need a new set of tires, get them. I mean, really, you're gonna have to get medieval here on this. You have to get medieval. Please keep preparing. Don't get a sense of lulled into thinking everything's not so bad. It's bad, folks. 787,000 new unemployment claims last week. It's bad. There's a lot of people that have to go back to work. And if you count on the way John Williams does at shadowstats.com, it's somewhere about 28%, not 8%. If you count it the way it was done in 94 and earlier by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it's about 28% according to John Williams. That's what he does. Back before they, made it look better than what it really was. It really is. Some good news, and I want to get that out to you, some good news, and that is General Motors has decided it's going to spend $2 billion in its third EV, electric vehicle plant. As the Cadillac Lyriq is one of the vehicles they're going to build. They're going to build it in Spring Hill, Tennessee. Wow, maybe a couple of neurons, touched off with Mary Barra. And she said, maybe doing a business in a totalitarian communist regime, maybe we should back off that risk. Maybe we should take our high-tech new electric vehicle cars and build it where we don't have to give away the technology to the Chinese. Maybe it'd be better for us long term not to do business with people who harvest organs and persecute Christians and have concentration camps, and you have no rights, and also follow everybody around through their cell phone in great detail. Maybe we need to build cars over in the United States. Yay. Good news. It's going to be the third plant is in Spring Hill, Tennessee, and it's going to be building the Lyriq, and they're invested a couple of $1 billion there, and I think that's absolutely good news. We need a lot more news like that, and that's the reason why Donald Trump is so hard on the Chinese, so everybody doesn't feel like, oh, we'll just go over to China and pay them $2 an hour and dump our stuff right into the Yangtze River, and the whole thing's going to be a big polluted mess, but we don't care because it's the Chinese, and the communists just don't care how many people they kill because you got 1.4 billion. Maybe it's a better idea for people to build things over in this country. So I know people like Mark Cuban, China's our customer. They're salivating over, the 1.4 billion people, their customers over there, that treasonous dope. He'll just bend over and take it any way he has to take it to. He can get access to those Chinese customers. Something's worth more than just having customers in business, and freedom and our sovereignty. And China has been working against us. And they got censors at Facebook out in California, Chinese nationalist censors censoring people on Facebook. Yeah, yay, Mr. Zuckerberg, yay, you commie, you treasonous, seditious weasel, hiring communist Chinese to censor Americans. It's unbelievable. So, Salente is going to be the guest for the Saturday Evening Post. He's going to be talking about elections. One group of people who are not going to be showing up for the elections. I'm going to tease you and make you watch it. And he's going to be talking about the Great Depression, as I said earlier, the greatest depression, as I said, and that he thinks. And I asked him about predicting what's going to happen after the election. A lot of people are calling for post-election violence, election riots. Search those terms. And you'll find out that a lot of police around the country are getting ready for some pretty heavy civil unrest. I asked Salente how long will this go on for. He says, listen, if Trump wins by a landslide, and he may, then it'll be over pretty soon. And even if it takes a while, I think they'll suppress the violence. Also, he thinks it'll be temporary. So it won't be permanent. So there you have it. Thank you so much for all your comments. I took Tuesday off, so nothing bad happened to me. I wasn't censored or I wasn't kicked off my own website, anything like that. I had some things I had to get done. I took a little time off. It's about all I can say. And I just want to thank you very much for your comments and for your contributions and your donations to USA Watchdog. That helps us out. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for supporting USA Watchdog. And as always, fear not. Prepare yourself mentally, physically, above all, spiritually. God the Father, Jesus Christ, his Son, and the Holy Spirit are all firmly in control. Again, thank you for supporting USAWatchdog.com.